Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting straight to the essential insights on the weather risks shaping up for Europe, Western Russia, and the North Caucasus. We're looking specifically at the second half of July 2025. This isn't just another forecast rundown. Our mission here is really to understand what's truly at play, atmospherically speaking. We're digging into data from top models, the European ECMWF, the UK Met Office's UKMO, and Canada's CANSI APS. And what's important for you, the listener, is that these models, they're showing remarkable consistency that really boosts our confidence. Okay, let's unpack this. So what immediately jumps out for, say, July 22nd to the 31st, 2025? It looks like a strong potential for widespread, significantly above normal temperatures. And with that, serious heat wave risks. We're talking a big area here, Central Europe, parts of Northern Europe, stretching right into Western Russia. But here's where it gets, well, really interesting, and maybe a bit counterintuitive. While many of these central areas are actually looking at drier conditions overall, the background influence, climate change suggests something else.
It suggests that any rain we do get is likely to be much more intense. So you end up with these paradoxical risks, sudden heavy downpours, flash floods, maybe even larger hail.
Right. And what's fascinating looking at the models is how they consistently point to one dominant feature. It's this persistent, blocking, high-pressure system parked right over Central and Northern Europe. You can almost picture it like a huge, invisible lid on the atmosphere. It essentially traps warmer, drier air underneath it. Now, this isn't just a minor detail. It's critical. It really sets the stage for drought to expand and ramps up that heat wave potential significantly. And this outlook, it's not just some random weather event. It lines up strikingly well with the long-term climate trends we've been observing. We're seeing increasing frequency, increasing intensity of extreme heat, and these really altered rainfall patterns across both Europe and Russia. It fits the bigger picture.
Okay, so let's focus on that heat for just a second. You mentioned significant heat wave potential. What's particularly worrying about this specific forecast? Because, sometimes we just think hot days.
That's a really crucial point. What's most concerning in these projections isn't just the daytime highs, although yes, they're expected to be extreme, it's the nighttime temperatures. They're forecast to be unusually high too, offering very little relief overnight. See, when the air doesn't cool down enough at night, the human body just doesn't get a chance to recover. Heat stress becomes cumulative, and that makes it far, far more dangerous. This lack of nighttime cooling is a major public health worry. It contributes to higher rates of heat-related illness, even mortality, especially for, vulnerable groups. Plus, this kind of sustained, intense heat puts a massive strain on infrastructure. We've seen it before, electricity grids getting overwhelmed by demand surges.
Right. And then there's that other piece you mentioned, the intense rain and hail, even in areas expected to be generally dry. How do those two things, how do they fit together? Sounds like a really dangerous mix.
It absolutely is. It's a dangerous combination of threats. The basic physics is pretty straightforward. Warmer air can hold significantly more moisture. Simple as that. So even if it rains less often overall, when the atmosphere does decide to release that built-up moisture, well, it can come down in incredibly concentrated, sometimes violent bursts. That's how you get these sudden flash floods, sometimes in areas that have been suffering from drought just days before. And it's why the updrafts in these storms can be strong enough to produce exceptionally large hail. This paradox, this switch, is particularly critical in places like the North Caucasus. The mountains there can channel these intense downpours, turning small streams into, raging torrents almost instantly. It's that rapid shift from one extreme to another that really defines this kind of multi-hazard environment.
So boiling it down, what does this all mean for you listening as we head into late July 2025? We're looking at a really complex interplay here. Immediate weather patterns, yes, but layered over these powerful long-term climate shifts. The forecast points towards sustained heat, but also, paradoxically, these intense bursts of rain, even in drier zones. It creates this environment with multiple hazards happening almost side-by-side: drought, wildfire risk, but also sudden flash floods, damaging hail. It's not just one thing.
Exactly. And if we connect this forecast to the bigger picture, it becomes clear why this is so urgent. Europe is, unfortunately, warming faster than any other continent, more than double the global average rate. And Russia's also seeing disproportionately rapid temperature increases. Climate change isn't just adding new problems, it's acting like a threat multiplier. It turbocharges existing vulnerabilities. Heat waves are getting longer, more frequent, and more intense. That has huge public health consequences and massive economic ripple effects too. Think about recent extreme weather events, billions in uninsured damages. It adds up very quickly.
Yeah, it really does. Which brings up, I think, an important question as we wrap up. When we see these specific short-term forecasts, like the one for late July, How does understanding these underlying accelerating climate change trends, how should that shift our perspective on, say, preparedness? It feels like it's not just about getting through the next heat wave or the next storm anymore. It's perhaps more about building genuine long-term resilience for a future where these kinds of climate extremes might just become, well, the new normal, something to really think about.